October 6th, the 6th episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween. Welcome back, guys, to the Real Radar Radio Show. Back at it again like a crack addict, bringing you guys the next episode of the Real Radar Radio Show. I am your host, Eric V. Welcome back to the Real Radar Radio Show. Excited. So here we are, October 6th, the 6th episode, and man, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, I'm not gonna say kinda. I really am disappointed this year. I mean, I know it's spooky season. I know that much. I know that there's, the season for pumpkins and haunted houses and scary stories and campfires and horror movies. And I know I just said horror movies like twice, but I mean, I'm really invested in horror movies. I'm not sold on the fact that there's not a lot of, activity going on throughout the city, throughout the town, throughout the whole area. And the one thing that really bothers me, even though that I found it as cheesy and as much of a joke as the next person, the lack of there not being a haunted house this year again is troubling. I mean, this is the second year in a row that Harlingen has gone without a haunted house. In the previous years, 2 years ago, and for the years before that, I want to say maybe a good 7, 8, maybe 9 years in a row, Harlingen had I guess you could say a fairly decent haunted house in the Rotting Flesh Factory. The Rotting Flesh Factory was a premier haunted house that was here in Harlingen, and it featured a lot of, jump scares and a lot of, characters that were, built from the ground up locally that made, a lot more sense because a lot of people, enjoyed going to the haunted house, and, a lot of people got a good kick out of it. Their yearly radio promos on the radio were second to none. They were obviously awesome. They were pretty good. I kind of find that the lack that it's been 2 years and I haven't seen these guys, and it's not so much the fact that I know that all good things must come to an end. The people over at the Rotting Flesh Factory, I'll have you guys know, they actually went through a lot of trouble to bring the haunted house back, because there was, at their old location where they used to be housed, down close to downtown Jackson, they housed a old factory that used to be their main base of operation for the haunted house, and they had painted it, made it look nice and everything, decorated it, and they tricked it out with some sick graphics and some awesome drawings and stuff. But however, that unfortunately came to a close because of a fire that broke out at the location, and the whole building went up in flames and it just burned down. Conveniently, though, across the street from the haunted house was a church, and for the longest time, I remember the word in high school was that the people at church had caused the fire and burned it down because they didn't want it to be an eyesore in front of the church for people who came to come visit. And for the longest time, a lot of people, agreed, and a lot of people were like, hey, that makes a lot of sense, and which it did. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think a lot of church people would go and burn down a haunted house just because it was, in their way, or it just didn't seem to, fit with them. But nonetheless, that haunted house was brought up again and rebranded into the Rotting Flesh Factory, and it was very successful for a few years, and then just 2 years ago, it just just up and poofed, like it never happened. And I don't know what happened to the owners or the people that were in charge of, the haunted house, but I don't know if there was a time or a moment where they just had to step back, or just didn't seem logical to do. But I mean, Harlingen's going without a haunted house this year again, and it's kind of disappointing because I'm used to hearing the radio promos, hearing the the hoopla about it, seeing pictures about it online, people being tagged in it, or shout outs, or whatever the case may be. There was so much to be enthralled by, just the fact that there was a haunted house providing that good scare for those people that were around. And it's really sad because I was just like, man, like, I haven't heard any radio promos this year. But lo and behold, I heard a bunch of radio promos for a bunch of other ones that were, locally around town or nearby. There is a Toluca Ranch haunted house that supposedly is over 100 years old. There's an actual haunted house that it actually plays host to, haunted house every year. Not sure what it is or how it became of, but I'm assuming that it's gotta have a good backstory. Maybe just it's a honest, true, actually haunted place. I'm not too sure, but there's that one. There's Muertos en la Monte or something like that at the corn maze in Donna, and that one's supposed to be like a haunted corn maze hunt. Try to simulate, I guess, like the woods or something, the forest. I'm not too sure. It seems kind of cheesy. I don't know. And then there's Nightmare on Broadway in McAllen. So Nightmare on Broadway is like a 4D experience where you I guess you wear these like glasses or something that bring you like this like 4D experience of like these actors and like props and things jumping out at you throughout your whole time there. And there's a lot of radio promos for that. I've been seeing a lot of things, posted on Facebook about, these haunted houses. And, like, a lot of people are asking, hey, what's going on with the Rotting Flesh Factory? What's going on with this? A lot of people have heard about it. But, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a little, like I said, I'm a little jaded. Ow. A little disappointed that it's not happening. But, I had this, like, really kooky idea a couple years ago that I was just like, man, you know what? I wonder what it would take to build my own haunted house. Like, obviously, a butt ton of money. Obviously, it would take a lot of time and effort and consuming a lot of energy to make it work, because with something like that, you would have to dedicate like real like time to real opportunities, real factual information, such as, I guess when you start a haunted house, you have to have some sort of a backstory, right? I mean, what would be my backstory? What would be the story that I would want to tell people that would coincide with the haunted house, that would make it seem scary? What would make it seem believable? I mean, at this point, do I just make up a story, make up this whole premise, introduce characters that seem scary and kind of make it just play off of one another and see if it just rolls with the punches? I don't know. I've been really curious about that. And I don't know. I think it's always been a dream of mine to open up a haunted house and see how that goes, and excuse me, have people visit it on a yearly basis. And I like to think that haunted houses make what they spend in revenue or supplies or whatever on a yearly basis. They make that money back throughout the month of October, because most haunted houses are open throughout the whole month of October, from like, I guess maybe the first week or toward the end of the first week all the way through Halloween. And they make a fuck ton of money because they're open, rain or shine, or they're open, cold weather, hot weather. They're making their money back. They sell promotional, vouchers, promotional gifts towards it, like I guess the radio promos that I remember for the Rotting Flesh Factory were you buy a T-shirt and that gets you like a front of the line privileges or something like that. I guess like a it's like a fast pass or something like a, I don't know, a fright pass or something like that. I don't know. It's something to that effect where it gets you to the front of the line and you get to go in at limited times. You know, do what you got to do. I mean, it was a premier thing. So to hear about it, it's kind of weird that there's not going to be one. It's kind of odd, and I'm more convinced that I would have like a such story to tell that would actually make that much more sense if I ever became into if I ever got into a good amount of money to where I could turn a profit. It would be for a haunted house, because if I really think about it, what I spend on makeup, characters, actors, lighting, this and that for 1 month at one location, it would be, I think it would be very well worth it, but at the same time, draining on an emotional level, because you're wasting a lot of light. You obviously, got to pay people to be these characters. You got to spend on character makeup, designs, costumes, props, decorations, location, rental fees. And I'm pretty sure it all adds up, and you pretty much, you either turn a profit or you lose out on it. I mean, it just depends on, how it is. But I don't know, man. I mean, I think it'd be pretty awesome to do a haunted house based on the fact that you can make your own like characters, and not only that, but like if you're getting advice on people around you and telling you about how they would have done it a certain way, or they're doing it differently, or how they would approach a haunted house situation, they're actually helpful people. Like, they're actually just want to see you succeed, because we're all here to help each other succeed, help each other get a step above in this industry that's being kind of downplayed as the years go by. I mean, you don't see a lot of haunted houses anymore, or haunted attractions. It just seems really dull and plain. But one of the haunted houses that I really want to talk bases on, aside from the ones that I was thinking about opening up of my own, was, I don't know if a lot of people have heard about this, but the McCamey Manor. I don't know if it's in California or something like that, but the McCamey Manor is said to be the most brutal, psychological bending, hardcore haunted house in the U.S. And the reason behind all this is because Russ Kamey, the founder and creator of McCamey Manor, developed this scare system, this haunted house attraction, to make it to a point where it drives you to the brink of, losing your shit at the exact same moment that you're participating. So the rules are for the McCamey Manor is that you have to have a medical clearance from a doctor before you attend or even be considered on a wait list for this haunted house. Each and every year there's a wait list for this. I said wait list. I don't know. Wait list. Each and every year there's a wait list for this haunted house, because everybody wants to get in. Everybody's heard good and scary things about it. They want to be spooked. They want to be jumped. They want to be scared. And the one thing that stood out about this in the whole McCamey Manor is that the actors can actually touch you. They can physically grab your face and like shake your head, or like physically like push you to the brink of exhaustion or being overwhelmed, that there's people around you, or they're yelling at you and this and that. They can literally do all this stuff to you, and you have to sign a waiver saying that you cannot sue them, or counter sue them or something like that, because you're responsible for being medically clear to do this, going in there with a clear mind, with clothing that that you're not going to want anymore, because you might end up getting caught in some hand grabs and your shirt might tear or something along the way. It's just a big old deal, because you don't really expect all this to happen, but then it does. So the McCamey Manor is said to be a wild and interesting uh, thing, and I was just curious as to see how many people would actually, survive one of those things because it just looks horrible. Like it looks not appealing to anybody along that spectrum. But I mean, I'm not too sure how other people feel about it. It's kind of I don't know, kind of like a hit and miss type of thing. Um, it's a wee bit odd. I mean, I think the Kamey Manor is probably one of the most intriguing haunted houses, but also extreme. Also, uh, heavily on the fact that they can touch you, they can punish you, they can, make you cry on cue. Can really, get to you because it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that that happen, and a lot of people invest a lot of time and effort and money to be even considered on the wait list for a haunted house like of this stature because people want to feel important, want to feel like they're a part of the experience. It has been said that nobody has made it all the way through the McKamey Manor experience because you either get kidnapped by actors or people that are involved, handled poorly by people involved, um, asked to I don't know, bandage somebody up or help somebody clean something up. You're the guy. So kind of sucks, but I mean that's the hand we're dealt with when it comes to being medically cleared to go to a haunted house because some people just don't think above it because they think they're just gonna say, hey, you know what, it's in there and everybody's doing it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited to know that Halloween's just around the corner. There's just so much left to talk about and everything to discuss. I mean, haunted houses are one thing. Being able to do that, you have to be medically cleared by a doctor to attend such a criminal thing. Some people might view it as criminal. Some people might view it as aiding and assisting. I don't know. I'm not too sure what that would mean. I have no idea. I mean, these stories get crazier and crazier each year. You learn about the Kamey Manor and the boundaries that they're pushing for that haunted house is just, it's insane. I mean, I never expected to see that much traffic with all the coins that are embedded in the whole haunted house experience. And these coins that, well, not actual literal coins, but these terms that are coined to be scary or repetitive or, interesting. All these terms are coined by other people who have done this haunted house, who have experienced, severe anxiety or, the fear of dying or the fear of, embarrassment or being shy or bashful. All that seems to go away when you step into a new vital part of, being surrounded by friends and being surrounded by those who support you while you go through an obstacle such as this and, being your support system. I mean, I don't know how many people came together with you guys. I don't know if that's the prime source, but I do know that the numbers are obviously drunk. I don't know. But yeah. I'm very invested into this whole haunted house trope. It's become so clear to me that this is beyond what anybody could ever imagine. It's beyond what anybody could really see or think about. Haunted houses are designed to bring excitement and terror to people because it's just what they do. It's relied heavily on the fact that, they make their money back during the holiday season because people want to be scared. People want to give out candy. People want to be able to be functioning and properly gifting to people by giving them that opportunity to feel like their haunted house can do some good. And I really miss the Rotting Flesh Factory because I really wish that they would, still be considerate to attend if and when we decide to do something. But I don't know at this point. At this point, I'm really confused and really sad and disheartened because it's bizarre. I mean, I for one am ready to accept the fact that haunted houses are becoming the new social norm of being canceled or being let go of because people just don't seem it to be any fun anymore when you're drinking and you just stop laughing because at this point you're laughing at just random horrible stuff that you have experienced, whether it's you by yourself in your truck and you're crying and sobbing and you got boogers all over the place, or the fact that you had someone congratulate you, tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you did good, so proud of you, you're good to go. Not these haunted house workers. I mean, they're more invested in the fact that they can get away with the jump scare or get away with a good scare and make it happen. I mean, it's obviously the best thing because if you don't have anything else, you can. Like I said, you had the jalapeno thing going. I was shaking, but I mean, you still did it, which is cool. I mean, but I don't know. I'm just flabbergasted as you are, and I don't mean it when I say people can be real cruel sometimes, but that's the truth. I mean, people can be. So these haunted houses have, limited, assertion to people who want to become a part of certain. But I'm so content with how things can play out in the end. I mean, we get you back. We get, Well, I guess that clip didn't play for the haunted houses. I apologize, but yeah, man, I think that this whole haunted house biz is just filled with a whole bunch of animals that could be considered, awesome. Can be considered frightful to some, but at the same time, interesting choices. These haunted houses have an opportunity to become bigger and better each and every year, but most times, people just don't want that, and it's really hard to pinpoint because, I mean, they come and go. Thank you guys for listening to the 6th episode of the Real Real Radio Show. I apologize for the technical delay in the sound, for the sound effects. I don't know what the hell that is, but I mean, I'm going to work on it tonight during post. I'll see you guys on the 7th. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys then. This is the Real Radar Radio Show.